Welcome to our Mock Interview Pro series for aspiring magistrates. Today, we're diving into key questions you might face during your interview and offering insights on how to handle them with confidence and professionalism. Let's get started with our first question. Can you tell us about a time when you faced an ethical dilemma at work and how you resolved it? This question helps assess your ability to navigate complex situations where your moral compass and professional responsibilities might clash. Here are some tips to help you craft your answer. Pick a specific ethical dilemma that is relevant and memorable. Discuss the conflicting values that were at play in the situation. Walk us through the steps you took to address the dilemma. Share the outcome and what you learned from the experience. Highlight your dedication to ethical principles. Let's take a look at how you might frame your answer.
In my previous role, I noticed a colleague was falsifying time records. Despite our friendship, I felt it was wrong and discussed my concerns discreetly with my supervisor. An investigation confirmed the issue, underscoring the importance of integrity and upholding ethical standards, even when personal relationships are involved.
By the way, we're only covering a handful of questions in this video, but I've prepared a free PDF with all 30 top interview questions for Magistrate. It also includes example answers and tips to help you prepare with confidence. The download link is just below. Could you describe an experience where you had to mediate a conflict between two parties? How did you handle it, and what was the result? This question evaluates your conflict resolution skills and your ability to facilitate constructive communication. Let's explore some strategies for discussing your experience. Identify a specific conflict that you successfully managed. Explain your role in mediating and how you facilitated communication. Describe the steps you took to guide the conversation towards resolution. Highlight the positive impact of the resolution and what you learned. Here's an example of how to effectively convey your experience.
In my previous role as a community liaison, two neighbors were in conflict over property boundaries. I listened to their concerns separately and then facilitated a joint discussion. By focusing on a solution, they agreed to have a survey done, resolving the conflict amicably. This taught me the importance of active listening and mediation.
Can you provide an example of a decision you made that had a significant impact? How did you ensure it was the right choice? This question looks into your decision-making skills, particularly in situations that require leadership and careful analysis. Here are some key points to consider when answering this question. Choose a decision that is relevant to the responsibilities of a magistrate. Explain the context and rationale behind the decision. Detail your decision-making process and who you consulted. Emphasize the outcomes and impact of your decision. Reflect on how you evaluated the decision's effectiveness. Let's see how you could structure your response.
As a community service coordinator, I launched a program connecting first-time offenders with community outreach efforts. Collaborating with NGOs and law enforcement, the program successfully reduced repeat offenses by 30%, validating the impact of my decision.
Imagine you're presiding over a case where all the evidence is circumstantial. How would you approach making a decision? This question assesses your critical thinking and ability to interpret evidence, which is crucial for judicial decision-making. Consider these points when forming your response. Thoroughly evaluate the strength of the circumstantial evidence. Analyze how each piece fits into the overall case. Ensure the evidence logically supports a conclusion of guilt or innocence. Reflect on legal standards like reasonable doubt. Remain impartial and base your decision solely on the facts presented. Here's how you might articulate your approach.
When dealing with circumstantial evidence, I would ensure that each piece is robust and connects logically to the case. If the evidence leads to a strong inference without reasonable doubt, it would guide my decision.
How would you handle a situation where you have a personal connection to one of the parties in a case you're presiding over? This question examines your ability to maintain impartiality and uphold the integrity of the judicial process. Here are some key aspects to consider when addressing this scenario. Openly acknowledge your personal connection. Assess whether this connection might affect your impartiality. If there's any doubt about bias, choose to recuse yourself. Communicate your decision to all involved parties professionally. Ensure that the judicial process remains fair and unbiased. Let's look at how you could express your approach to such a situation.
If I had a personal connection in a case, I would disclose it and assess my ability to remain impartial. Should I find any potential bias, I would recuse myself to uphold the court's integrity.
Before we wrap up, remember you can get all 30 questions, example answers, and step-by-step tips in a handy PDF. Totally free. Just grab it below.